Hey all, I'm back with another book for review. So I just finished Becoming Free Indeed by Jinger, Duggar, Vuolo. I'm really bad with pronunciation of last names. And the whole reason I chose it is because I grew up watching the Duggars, like a lot of other people that grew up watching the Duggars. And I come from a Christian background, but to me, watching them, I was like, why are they in clothes? Why? Like, their mindset is much different than the way I grew up Christian, but it has a lot of similar things that like is very interesting, because who my parents are a little bit different than Christian world, because they came from non-Christian families. So they had a promotion of women need to be able to support themselves no matter what. Any situation can happen where they're like, your husband passes away or you are left by yourself. Like, there's so many things that can happen, or like your husband gets injured on the job and so you have to provide. Like, there's so many things in the world that can happen that my parents really instilled, like, no, you still need to be like, you have to support yourself. And so like watching the Duggars, where the women stayed inside, or not inside, but stayed home raising kids and stuff like that, it was just like, even though my mom was definitely a stay-at-home mom, but she ran my dad's business for years, so it was just like my mom still could do everything. And it's like, you still had the skills. Even if you are a stay-at-home mom, you still have the skills just in case. You never know. There's trials in the world that come up, and you just need to have that. So I think growing up watching it was like so interesting to see their whole world. And being free indeed was like, oh, I like could not put this down at all. I'm pretty sure I finished it in a day. It was so brilliant. She's such a good writer, and she like really spoke from her heart. Like, this was like, I don't know, like, I've read other things that they've done and I was like, not like my cup of tea, but this one was just like, it's like you got to see the real Jinger. You got to see her like vulnerable side and see, no, it wasn't all hunky-dory. It wasn't all perfect. Like, she talks about how her dad had to work multiple jobs at one point, and like stuff like that, and how people that have like the wife is at home and she's basically at home raising all these kids. And like, it was an example that she gave that, and then she's like having kid after kid after kid, and she doesn't get a break. And like, you are basically parenting alone because your husband has to do all these other jobs. And it was just so interesting to hear her perspective on it and her view of coming out of the Gothic culture, which I talked to my parents about it because they grew up in the time that Gothic really came into success. And like, my parents say, oh, he started out trying to do the right thing and had good principles, but like maybe he did. I don't know. I wasn't alive, so who knows. But I've seen way too many documentaries, way too many, because I'm in this kick with the documentaries and stuff like that, that tell me that he did not have a true understanding of God and his word, and like, he didn't like let the word speak for itself, and he wanted to have his own stories into it. And so like, her being able to dissect like the differences between Gothic culture and what the Bible says, and like her like slowly being able to do that, and seeing the way she's like, well, yes, you need to obey your husband, but you need to do this. Yes, you need to be modest, but also like, you need to do this. Yes, you need to be able to support your family, be at home and support your family, but also you need to do this. Like her way of just dissecting it all out and taking out the Gothic principles and just having the word, the Bible, just sit out on its own was so brilliant. Just to see that was unbelievable to me. I just could not get enough. And like, I'm like, I want another book. I want another book. I want another. I'm like, the other thing is, I really want to meet her. I'm like, you seem like such the most genuine hearted person. And I just couldn't like be like, I just want to be your friend. like, I really want to be your friend, which sounds so ridiculous, and I know I sound ridiculous, but I'm just also like, I want to hear what she has to say about God. I want to hear all her information. I want to hear her insights and like see what her perspective is, and like be like, I don't know, because I do not know everything, and I just like to hear other people's stories. And so I definitely, it is brilliant. Like, I would highly recommend it, especially like if you grew up watching the Duggars and like you thought their culture was a little weird, because it kind of is. Like, it is different from a lot of other, even Christian cultures. It's different. And so like hearing their story and just knowing like there's a reason why that a lot of people walked away from the church. There's a reason why. And like it's because you can't, her biggest thing was all these rules are made up by man and you cannot live up to these rules because they made them harder than God's rules. Like, so much harder. And it's like, no, God says this. God says, love me, love others. God says this and that. Like, it was just such a good perspective. Good perspective. So my rant is over. But I highly recommend this book. Definitely get it. And I hope you all enjoyed this review.